all I've done.
Does that mean the basics, you know how to remove something, or no, not yet?
Yes, I do. I was doing that. I've done that before with a sore throat, and I got rid of that within 15 minutes.
Oh, that's great. So what have you been removing regarding the endometriosis?
Nothing really, because like I said, I was overwhelmed, and I'm just really was on the website to learn.
Okay. All right. Now I kind of get a sense of where you're at. Okay. Go ahead, Greg. Sorry.
Oh, that's good. You can jump in wherever you want. That was Keely, by the way. Keely's in Philadelphia, and I'm Greg. I'm in Chicago. Have you been testing already?
Yes, I know how to test. I've been testing for years, over 20 years, so I'm very familiar with that.
Now, you've been testing in what way? 20 years.
I use muscle testing, applied kinesiology, and I use my arm, and I can tell a huge difference between yes and no. It's not a question of whether it's one way or the other, so I'm pretty good at that. When I put my arm straight out, if it's a yes answer, it stays strong, and if it's a no, my arm loses all energy and strength, and it just comes down.
So this is when someone is pushing on it?
No, I don't need any help with anyone pushing on it. I just do that myself.
So what's your test on the health pathologies, Deborah?
I got a no on that.
Okay.
Now, another area called non-removable, we also call it sticky. Do I have any sticky or non-removable pathologies in any of my bodies?
Do I have any sticky or non-removable pathologies in any of my bodies? I got yes on that.
Good.
Now we'll go down to test of these pathologies in that area. So,
George is going to give you, he's going to name each of the sticky pathologies, and you're going to test whether you have that one.
Do I need to verbally say it first?
Yeah, you're going to test. Correct. I say conditions, and you say, do I have any conditions in any of my bodies?
Okay. Do I have any conditions in any of my bodies? No.
Deformity.
Do I have any deformities in any of my bodies? Yes.
Okay. So we have deformity. Now let's do an all body removal of that. So is it just taking it out of your body per se without going any more specific? Let's see if you can take out deformity, all your body. So you say, I am now removing deformity from all my bodies.
I am now removing deformity from all of my bodies. Yes.
Okay. So we have deformity. Now let's do an all body removal of that. So is it just taking it out of your body per se without going any more specific? Let's see if you can take out deformity, all your body. So you say, I am now removing deformity from all my bodies.
I am now removing deformity from all of my bodies. Okay.
You keep moving it. Yeah.
Yes, I got it. Yes, that it's removed now.
Good.
Okay. So another way, well, just listening the first time, you can check on that by saying, all my bodies are free of deformity.
Okay. All my bodies.
You get a yes. So test that. All my bodies are free of deformity.
All of my bodies are free of deformity. Yes.
Good.
Welcome to my jury-rigged workstation. As you can see, I work at a stand-up desk, and I have a little Santa Claus over here to remind me that gifts come at the most unexpected times, and I have a picture of Mayor Baba. And that is, believe it or not, an 100-year-old or more antique dental cabinet. And these are our greeters. And that is my Daisy. She's one of our greeters. And this is what I look like in harness, with all these billions of lights on, so you can see me. Here's my mouse. Here, I actually sit here and work on that big screen TV. That's my monitor. And so Deborah's Cure Show, as you can see, is going pretty normally so far. You know, as she says, she's cured things already. She cured that sore throat. But it's fine, you know, except the only problems are going to come later. The reason I chose Deborah is because Deborah's going to hit a very, very, very big patch of bumpy water as she discovers that she is somebody who doesn't cure things, even though she's been curing things like her entire life before she ever heard of us. And so this is, you need to see Deborah. You know, Deborah was a very good person to illustrate. Here's somebody who's succeeding, somebody who's, you know, good at removing things, good at finding them, good at removing. They come right out, you know. And the disease she has also may be incurable. And, you know, that's another question, isn't it? Is anything curable? Like Elizabeth went back a year later, and she wrote to me, and she went back and she got a medical test. I just realized you might not remember who Elizabeth is. She's the woman who got the negative medical test on the 4 incurable viral-based diseases, 2 kinds of herpes, Epstein-Barr, and CMV. Remember her, the message where you were watching Greg hand out the bumper stickers on the highway? You know, that was Greg. So that's Elizabeth. See, give us a virus, gone in 60 seconds. You know, it's like viruses you can whack. You know, it's funny. This is the exact opposite of what most people think. Like, most people think if you have, let's say, a nutritionally based disease, you just eat better and you can cure it. Those are easy to most people. That's what most people think about it. They're dead wrong. Of course, when they try to cure one, then they find out how hard it is to cure a nutritionally based disease. But, you know, their ideas in their mind, you know, people's minds think. That's the problem with minds. They have thoughts, you know. And they think a virus, oh, that's incurable. Like, you've got HIV, that's incurable. You know, you got to, you know, whatever. But, you know, the reverse is actually true. Like, when you actually start curing things, you find that the reverse is true. Anyway, Elizabeth, fat Elizabeth. I mean, Elizabeth went back, got, again, another medical test and came out negative on those 4 diseases. The question is, though, does she still have them? And also, see, you can see that Elizabeth, from her going back a year later, now you know she had continued to check herself for them. If she ever saw any symptoms, she would check, did she have the disease, and she'd remove it. And because you know that, because nobody goes back and gets themselves checked a year later unless they've been keeping the thing out for the year, right? So you know she'd been very, 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 very good, because she had been very, 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 very sick, and she was very uncomfortable. And there is nothing that causes people to cure things like the memory of that discomfort that they used to have before they did. This is why people cure things. So, you know, I just love it when they do that. But you see, the question still remains. You know, is anybody ever cured after the negative medical test? Because a negative medical test just means the doctor can't pick it up on the test. Okay? It doesn't mean the thing's cured. Now, in the case of endometriosis, they don't know what causes it. They don't have a cure for it. They have a series of surgeries they can do, and that's about it, you know. And if the thing keeps coming back, they have to keep doing the surgeries over and over and over again. So you can see that Deborah's a very motivated person to cure this. And at the same time, I never heard of endometriosis. Well, I mean, I'd heard of it, but before Deborah came along, I never knew anybody who had it. Although she was saying maybe millions of women do, they just don't talk about it. And so Deborah, you know, is up against, and you're going to watch what happens. That's coming. And that is what Lesson 1 is about. Lesson 1 is about making the transition between being somebody who doesn't cure things and being somebody who does. And maybe you're going to see that. So you can get an idea of what it looks like, in case maybe you actually discover. See, because most people, they can't, I mean, Deborah couldn't see that she was somebody who didn't cure things till, wait, it's coming. But first, we want to look at, you know, we want to look at signals and other things a little more, okay? So we're going to just go along slowly and safely in this movie.
How would you describe your state right now?
Right now, I'm much more optimistic and more positive. Just
Optimistic and cognitive?
yes. And before,
Did I hear you right?
yes, that's right. Before I was just the opposite. Yes.
Do you test? Am I in the calm, clear place?
Am I in the calm, clear place? Yes.
That's great. This is just what a simple, all body, you know, kind of basic removal can do. The tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, this feels good so far. I'm ready to continue on and get to a place that I can't imagine of just, you know, wonderful.
Did you test on these things before?
Not to that extent, no, not to those things.
No, okay. Let's test some more pathology. Scarring. Do I have any scarring in any of my bodies?
Do I have any scarring in any of my bodies? I got a yes on that.
Okay, so then you remove scarring, just do this whole body removal. I'm taking scarring, removing scarring from all my body.
I'm removing scarring from all of my bodies. Do I have any scarring in any of my bodies? No, it's been removed.
That was yes, yeah?
You're right, it's removed now, yes.
Okay, and you get a test. When you test, do I have any scarring in my body? You get a no.
Right.
Why am I making this movie? Like, what caused me to decide to do this? You know, why? Like, why does it matter to me whether you cure anything? You know, was there something I said that caused you to believe I take a personal interest in you? Well, most people know the answer to this question. It's really not anything that they have any problem with. And yet I still want to tell you. You know, let me ask you something. Do you care whether somebody in Africa who you don't know cures HIV, which she was born with? Now look, you're alone. You take off your facade, you know. Just be honest with yourself. Do you actually care? And how much? That's another good question. Like, enough to go to all this trouble? Would you go to this much trouble if you thought it could happen? And you know what? I've been going to this much trouble for 12 years and it hasn't. The cure for HIV has been on the web for 12 years and the epidemics rage on. I am a failure I mean, really, you know, I am a failure. It's just that I don't relate to failure the way most people do. Not only doesn't it crush me, it doesn't even affect me. I have the ability to fail and just keep going. I'm good that way. That's why I've had so many successes in my life. Let's say, okay, I've got an idea. There's a girl named Rosacea. She lives in a little village in West Africa. It's not far from the sea. She can smell the sea from where she lives, and she's very sweet. She's got a little dog that, you know, adopted her, who's crazy about her. And if she dies, her grandfather will be crushed. That's who she lives with. Both her parents are HIV positive. They're gone. I didn't manage to save them. That was 6 years ago. And that little dog is going to be crushed if she doesn't make it. And neither you nor I can reach her. We just do, you know, I don't know, can you? Are you the person who's going to wipe HIV off the planet? If you are, let's do lunch. Because now you can. I am looking for the person who will end the HIV epidemic. And that person exists. That person is out there and has the will and the power and the means and the intention and the love, and now they can. And they have been able to for 12 years. They just don't know that. The person doesn't know that. And the person who will end the HIV epidemic is suffering right now because it hurts them when they see Rosacea. And then they can't get that virus out of her body. You know, it's not just the people who host the diseases who are hurt. It's everybody. It's you, whether you know it or not. You know, I mean, you may be too engulfed by your own personal problems to realize it, but it hurts you when an innocent person who doesn't need to die does. And it's part of your problem. It's part of what is making you sick. It's, you know, you're in a world where that's real. You're in a world full of people who don't cure things. So if you know the person who'll end the HIV epidemic, give them my number, which is on the home page. There's a link there, and tell them to call me. If you're the person, call me. And you know, the only way I know how to find this person is just to ask everybody and see. That's what this does. Bumper stickers tell everybody. That's why I made one. Because the only other thing I could do is just give up. And let everybody die. I could have done that too. In which case, you would not be getting the cure right now. Because you would have been one of the people who I would have been letting die. And so would whoever told you about this, probably. You know, I need to give the people I work with a lot of credit. And I'm talking about Franny, Greg, Barb, Keely, for being people who can fail and continue. And you know why I do it, really? You want to know? Because you dying of your cancer is not the way the movie is supposed to end. And I'm not talking about this movie I'm making now, okay? I'm talking about the movie. The movie of your life that I'm watching somehow. on some surreptitious level and participating with you in. And that movie ends with you curing your cancer and living on in a long and productive way and being a shining light, a powerful beacon to the world. This is what Albert Schweitzer, Albert Schweitzer had cancer when he was in his 70s, which you would expect somebody in their 70s to die of cancer. And he cured it and went on to live a long and powerful and productive life of philanthropy. That's when he did his most important philanthropic work, in the time after he cured his cancer. So when you save a life, when I think about saving your life, I don't just think about saving you. I think about all of the people who you'll affect. Like Charles, look, this guy, this guy right here, he had an 8-year-old, I think she was 8-year-old daughter. Think about the story that she'd be telling now, 5 years later, to her 13-year-old best friend about how crazy she was about her dad, and he died when she was 8, and she would just be telling this story for the rest of her life. My dad died when I was 8. That would be the story. That would be her inheritance. I had to step in, And obviously, this is what I'm training you and equipping you to do. I'm training you to be the person who will get me the person who will wipe the AIDS epidemic out of Africa. I'm training you to find the person, to learning how to, here's one way to find the person is using this, or maybe just simply to attract the person to me with your vibe, which you may very well do if you become someone who cures things. So the question is, did Bill? Okay, onward to the story of Bill. In the afternoon, Bill showed up, and we went to Wissahickon Park, and we ran on the horse trail, which at that point, was pretty much of a running trail. I guess it still is. And it runs along Wissahickon Creek. If you're ever in Philadelphia, go to Wissahickon. It is the best thing in Philadelphia. And we ran and we walked and we talked and we leaned against the fence and looked down at the creek and we tested, like you see Molly doing and you see these other people doing. And we adapted. This is basically what we did. We adapted what I used to cure my herpes to curing hepatitis B, which was completely different, and especially completely different for Bill. Okay, Bill isn't me. And it's what you see Molly doing. Molly is adapting what we're doing to herself. And the other people are adapting it to themselves. The kids are kind of simplistic, but I thought maybe that would help you, But Molly isn't simplistic. She's, obviously really getting into it. And we tested every question we could think of, and, of course, Bill started feeling great. He was feeling way better. And suddenly it didn't matter whether he had hepatitis B anymore. Neither of us were scared anymore. He got his courage and power back. He felt in control. But that didn't mean he'd cured his hepatitis. I once watched a woman shrink rosacea pustules. So here's a story within the story of Bill. This woman, we were together. She was somebody who knew how to cure things. We were hanging out, and she started getting a rosacea outbreak, which she had been working on it and, curing it. And obviously she still had it, and started getting a rosacea outbreak, and she said, look, look, I'm getting a rosacea outbreak, see? And she pointed, and I started looking, and all of a sudden it got worse and worse, so it comes on really fast. I never knew that about rosacea, but when we started out hanging out together, her face was pretty normal, all of a sudden it started turning beet red, and pustules started forming and so on. It was really weird. And then she said, now watch. She said, I'm going to take the outbreak out. I'm going to cure it. And she started doing her thing, And no kidding, her face changed in just a minute or two. Before my eyes, the pustules actually started to shrink. You don't believe me, do you? I didn't believe it when I was looking at it, so how could you believe me? This actually happened, you know? See, I didn't know, by the way, when I cured my herpes, I didn't know you could actually shrink the outbreak and the pustules and all that. So I took the herpes out of, you know, we're going to show you where to take it out and all. And I took it out and, you know, removed it. But I just said, okay, I guess the outbreak will just run its course, which it did. And that was it. I never had another outbreak after the day I cured my herpes. That was the last outbreak I ever had. But I didn't know I could shrink my pustules. And I never got a chance to test that out because I never had another outbreak. So I never got a chance to see if I could do what that woman could do. Anyway, so there Bill and I we were feeling great. And I just had to stop myself and say, wait a minute here. Hold it. You know, I had to take... And I wasn't saying this out loud, but I had a little talk with myself. And I said, you know, this isn't going to be like messing up curing your herpes, because if I had another outbreak, I could have gone, okay, well, I messed up, you know, because I was finding herpes for 2 years after I cured it. Oh yeah, a year and a half anyway. I kept finding it. I didn't leave it into the point where it would physically outbreak, but it was there. See, and I kept killing it. Anyway, so I said, hang on. I said, this is not going to be like curing, you know, like where you just say, oh, darn, you know, I messed up and I got a herpes outbreak. This is going to be, darn, I messed up and I got liver cancer. Because that's what hepatitis B does. It turns into liver cancer and kills its host. So then I stopped Bill and I said, wait a minute. I said to Bill, hang on here. I said, you got to do this. I said, you know. I said, you're not cured, okay? I said, you got to get a negative medical test on this. This isn't good enough. Like, we're feeling good. This is not good enough, okay? Now, look, let me just pause here for a second. Nobody's pushing you to go to the doctor, you know, you who are watching this movie. It's okay with us. If you don't want to go to the doctor, you don't want to spend the money, whatever, not a problem, you know, with me. But it is nice to know that somebody got a negative medical test, though, isn't it? Right? That's you're happy about, you know? But anyway, so I said to Bill, you're going to have to keep doing this. You're going to have to find anything that could possibly be causing this. You're going to have to keep asking every question you can think of. And I said to him, I am not coming to your funeral. I said, you have wasted enough of my time. I am not going to your funeral. You die. I wash my hands of you. That's it, buddy. You got to take a firm hand with him, you know. So his doctor had ordered his medication, and I said, don't start the medication. They were going to. It was not a cure. It was just some treatment. They had an intravenous, and they were going to show him how to use the intravenous when he went back. The doctor was going to show him, and I said, you get tested again. Now, you know, next time you go, you get tested, you know. And he went and got to the doctor. You know, he got another test, and he tested negative for hepatitis B. About 10 days, 2 weeks later. Bingo.
I got to know that.
Great. It's interesting, though. You know, you can be removing as you even test for them.
I didn't know that.
So, just the act of testing could be removing it.
Deborah, when you were doing those removals, it seemed to me like you were actually experiencing removing things. You weren't just like doing mechanical testing, which sometimes happens. But it seemed to me, from what you sounded like, that you were actually experiencing that you were actually removing things. Is that true?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Tell me a little bit about what it felt like, or what it was like.
It's hard to explain right now. It's
Okay, that's all right.
Well, we used to talk about letting go, and I used to have this certain feeling inside of my chest when I would let go, I could feel this like empty space opening up.
Yeah.
And when I really truly do IMMUNICS, it
You feel
has
it.
sort of the same thing. That's being connected. And without that, it's probably just more like a mechanical thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know what else
Well,
to say
that's what
about
I
that,
keep
but
trying to say in these movies, that it's the good feeling.
it is. It's important to have that light,
The good feeling.
yes.
Well, I want you to test, am I in the calm, clear place about yourself?
Yes, I am. I tested that with my finger. You can't see it, but...
Is there any other difference?
I seem to feel more peaceful inside. Not as much anxiety and stress.
You've had a lot of anxiety. That's been a symptom for you. I mean,
Yes.
you've been depressed and felt and crying.
Right, very much so, yes.
And of course, this incredible pain in your pelvis.
How would you describe your state right now?
Right now I'm much more optimistic and more positive. Just
Optimistic and cognitive?
yes. And before,
Did I hear you right?
yes, that's right. Before I was just the opposite, yes.
Am I in the calm, clear place?
Am I in the calm, clear place?
Okay. Nice. Did you feel any different just then when that happened?
Yeah.
Like, what was that difference?
Connecting to my body, kind of a relaxing feeling.
Which is what everybody says they get that.
Yeah.
That's the same exact thing, except as you go on with this, it's going to have all kinds of different variations of the feeling. I want to show you some other people getting this signal. More people, because I want you to get a good perspective on this. This is the signal that means you need to be really able to recognize when this happens for you, because this means you're going in the right direction.
How did you feel after you started doing it?
Felt that it's one of the form of meditation when you become present to yourself, and even you're on the street with a lot of traffic around you and you don't care about the traffic, you're present to sensations in your body, and it's getting more and more productive as you do it.
Cool.
What's a little dog doing? Get anything?
Well, I did make a little right hand twitch here.
Okay. So you feel any different? You do feel different, because I can tell, because you're laughing. I can tell that little laugh there.
Oh, it's pretty common, huh?
Yeah, it's very, yeah, everybody, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Tell me what result you got.
That's putting me on the side. I feel lighter, more. I don't feel like things are all around me. I feel lighter, more, not floating, nothing like that, just lighter. More at peace, definitely more at peace, more at ease within this skin than I have in a while.
Good.
More relaxed.
Good.
I can't think of another word but peace. Peace is the word that's ever to.
Are you in the calm, clear place?
Yes. Yes. Yes, I really, truly.
Okay, very good.
Should you choose to accept your training, your mission impossible, should you choose to accept it, will be to follow a thread of signals to and beyond a negative medical test. So you're going to get a negative medical test, and then you're going to go past that. Because the bad news is, when you get your negative medical test, and your doctor says, okay, we're not picking up herpes in your blood or whatever they test for, you're probably still going to be hosting the disease. To cure the disease, you have to take it to another, like, pitch, you know, another harmonic.
Right.
Now, how are you feeling now? I mean, what's that like?
I think think the same word, just relax, just very comfortable, very comfortable.
All right, which is good because you were having major butterflies when you started.
I was very nervous.
Which goes to show you that you can actually do this when you're nervous or in some kind of a bad state.
Right.
You know, and that's when you're going to need to do it. Because, see, you're going to need to cure it in the middle of getting an anxiety, a panic attack.
Right.
When you start getting a panic attack, that's the time to hit it hard. Hit it hard.
Okay.
Go ahead and do that. I think. No, I mean, you just say what you said again because I didn't catch it on camera.
Oh, I was saying, I guess people are probably waiting to see me go like, you know.
The pause that refreshes. Man, that's coffee.
Has my flow been reestablished? I get yes, you know.
Okay. All right. You will have to complete lesson 1. You are going to have to do the entire lesson. And there's quite a bit of it left, and I know that. So I'm talking to you because I understand that many of us, and I'm one of them, I do not like to read a book all the way through, or actually even watch a movie all the way through. Believe it or not, I have a 5 DVD movie changer. I actually do this, and I, stop movies in the middle and I go to another one. I just like getting, I like getting different perspectives, and, different kinds of energy. And right now, I've been telling you about these cure shows, and like the ones with Charles on his cancer, and you may have cancer. You may be thinking, well, maybe I better go, about yourself, maybe I better go listen to some cure shows. That's what I should be doing. And maybe you should be. It actually could be a lot better than just trying to power through lesson 1. So, plus, I haven't shot a lot of lesson 1 right now, but I know what's in it, and I know how long it's going to be, and I know 2 things about it. Number 1, you need everything that's in it, or you will fall on your face at some point. And, if you like learning that way, fine. Because you will learn the lessons that are in lesson 1 at some point. You know how the judge used to hang him and say, let that be a lesson to him? It may end up like that. So if you want to go that route, good. But otherwise, you will need. I know you need what's coming, and I also know that, and it'll probably take you a lot longer to do the other things you want to do without what's coming. But if you want to go start sampling and do stuff, look, you may have started curing already, and this is where a lot of people are. At this point, you're doing it. You're making up your own questions. You're there. I mean, you're saying, why am I still in lesson 1? I'm not a baby anymore. I can do everything Molly can do and everything these other people can do, and I'm feeling all this stuff they're talking about. So I don't really need to be here. This is kindergarten. Some people skip grades, and you're maybe feeling that way. And you could be right, actually. But you still will need. No, lesson 1 is, this stuff is advanced. So, what's coming. Yes, I say, if you say you want to, try some cure shows. Plus, by the way, this you watch in front of your computer. But a cure show you can download into a player and take it anywhere. That's what you do with cure shows. Most of them are MP3. They're also streaming. You can stream them or MP3. We put both up. We're idiots. We're trying to give you everything, thinking in our deluded minds that you will use it all, somehow, or that somebody will. So, and we probably should just stick with MP3s because that's what people really need. Okay, the thing people need at this point is they just need to get away from the computer. This is what everybody tells me. They don't have time to sit in front of the computer, but they got plenty of time when they're driving or vacuuming or on their lunch hour or whatever, doing their morning jogging, where they can listen to cure shows and knock off 2 or 3 hours worth of cure shows a day. Even a busy person can do that. with an MP3, see? So yeah, you download 60 or 90 hours worth of cure shows into your player. Look, you want to cure this thing? You know, like you've been thinking about Charles Cure shows. Maybe he's, you know, the one with the cure this guy. Yeah, you know. So okay. So that's fine. We recommend that you get a kit. And, you know, your first procedure when you get your kit is you take your CD and you put it in your car player so that, you know, you can hear it when you're on the road. And you put these bumper stickers on your car windows, as I have. You put one on the front window, two on the rear side windows, and one on the back window in the most obvious and visible places you can find. And at that point, your car is ready to be driven. You then insert your key in the ignition. Just kidding. And you download your cure shows. You get set up. And at that point, you may be ready to come back and continue with the movie with this lesson one. See? You may say, well, I've done enough of the other things for today. Now I think I'll listen to some more of lesson one. Good idea. And maybe also good idea to just complete the rest of this session.
On the phone, I called you up this morning, I guess it was early afternoon, and you told me a story. Now I want you to tell that story now again.
Well, I was having a really difficult day with lots of pain. My pain increased when I woke up this morning, and I tried to not take pain meds, but I ended up doing it because it was so bad that I knew I couldn't function at all. So I took the pain medication and went to bed and laid down with my with some heat on my pelvic area to try to get some comfort or pain relief. And I was just praying and asking God to give me some help. And just a few minutes later, you and Greg called me on the phone. So that was
out of nowhere, we called. Nobody told us to call. You didn't call us and ask us to call. We called.
Right.
You know what? You are the second person in this movie who has told me that I was the answer to a prayer.
That
I'm sorry, go ahead.
You said that I had manifested you calling me?
Yeah. You attracted, with your prayer, you attracted what you wanted. You attracted the help you asked for.
Right.
And then you asked me a question. Remember what it was?
No, not exactly.
Well, you asked me, you said, what was I thinking when I called you? What got me to call you?
Right, I remember that question.
And you remember what I said to you?